All right. Well, you guys want to talk about some World of Warcraft stuff?
What is that?
I guess we have to.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another episode of Server Restart In. It is a weekly World of Warcraft podcast hosted by three opinionated players who like to get together to discuss their thoughts about the current state of the game. My name is Jim. I'm joined by Kristen.
Hello.
And Brian.
Hello.
And we got a few things to chat about. There's been a lot of stuff coming up last week. We got a release date for patch 10.1.5. It is July 11th, so just about 2 weeks now. That'll be
right
out.
Around the corner.
Brings with it quite a bit of stuff.
A Tauren warlock.
Yep. One thing I want to touch on right now, though, for you Prime Gaming members,
What?
there's until July 20th. Until July
Bezos
20th. Yeah, there's the which one is it? The where's the name of it? Oh, the Swift Shore Strider mount is available for Prime Gaming members. So if you have that, don't forget to collect it.
Oh, let me go get it.
Wait, hold on. That's going on right now?
Yeah, June 22nd to July 20th. So
How did I know that?
Swift.
I'm terrible.
Oh,
Podcaster.
claim.
they went, well, it kind of got offered a little bit early, and then I guess it came out like a week ago, and I didn't see a notice on it or anything like that. So yeah.
What, you're talking about Twitch drop? Is that what you're talking about?
No, Prime
No.
Gaming. If you have
You have
Amazon Prime
Prime.
and you've connected it to your Twitch, you can go to your Twitch and get your Prime Gaming stuff.
Oh, I see it now. Look at that. Claim.
Look, yeah. I was like, claim.
So it's a neat. It's kind of
It's still got 20. I got you. Yeah, huh? That's cool though.
Yeah, I think it was a TCG one.
Yeah, piss those TCG people off.
Yep, I'm-
That's
Oh.
a Prime game right there, son.
So speaking of pissing people off,
Uh-oh.
Hey.
so no.
We make mad now.
Who did we make mad now? Well, apparently in 10.1.5, you will be able to have the ability to craft tier 3 armor sets.
That's cool. Why is that pissing people off?
Because tier 3 was removed when they removed
Oh, the
Naxxramas.
Naxxramas.
And
yeah.
And
And
then was it-
Is it that different from the Lich King stuff? I don't
The
remember.
Oh my
tier 7 is
God.
recolors
If
of
they,
it.
no,
No, what?
recolors of
Yeah.
the Naxxramas stuff.
That's
Yeah,
what tier
it was
7
because
was.
the tier 3.
Tier
Yeah, tier
three-
3 was
Tier 3
gross
was-
looking.
Yeah.
Paladin was terrible.
Yeah,
But
all
that's-
of the tier 3s were not exactly
But
the...
well, they put in tier 1 and tier 2 and all that stuff. You can get from the Dark
Okay,
Moon
so
Fair.
hold on. I started to Google tier 3, and the first
no.
and third result possible that is trying to guess is tier 3 sex offender.
Oh, wow.
That is not what we're talking about.
World of Warcraft.
Wow. Okay. Tier 3 paladin. Yeah, tier 3 paladin looked like was bluish. The one in Naxxramas 10 was like yellowy-ish.
Right.
And the other one was like black.
Tier 7 was recolors, except for Death Knights, because Death Knights didn't exist. Right? So,
Wah wah wah.
but they put in, people have found that they have the ability to
actually,
craft this
Death
stuff now.
Knights did exist then,
They just didn't have tier sets.
but they weren't playable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And technically,
They were killable.
were they even those kind of Death Knights? Or were they different
That's
Death Knights?
fair.
I think they were.
Let's Google that too.
Well, they were, because if you think about the Four Horsemen, weren't they Death Knights of some sort, or were they just risen champions?
Oh, that's a good point.
Because
I don't know.
I don't know in original Nax if they called them Death Knights, because the original Death Knights were human knights that had the souls of old warlocks put into them. They weren't reanimated corpses.
Well, the whole blood area too. Remember, it was full of in Lich King Nax. It's full of Death Knights.
Yes,
fighting each other.
The war quarter. I think.
But I don't know if I can actually find the original one. Sorry.
Yeah, the original one was what, Terran Gorfiend? Right? You fight him in Black Temple. But
don't remember.
He was more anyway. Yes. So crafting tier 3. People are salty because
they have to be.
I'm hoping that in the crafting of tier 3, they start making all of the sets craftable, and then that means that maybe challenge mode sets will be craftable. And
they're eventually going to get to it. At this point, there's no way they're not going to touch on it.
I think they're craftable because they're no longer obtainable. So if it's no longer obtainable,
challenge mode is no longer obtainable.
That's what I mean. If it's no longer obtainable, they might make it craftable, as opposed to like any of the other tier sets that you can go back and get. Because you can go farm tier 7, you can go farm tier 10. I don't even know what tier we're fucking on now, tier 27.
I have no clue.
No, that is kind of sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
A staple number to everything for so long, and now we don't even know it.
I never knew them by tier numbers.
Yes, you did. That's bullshit.
You know, he just referred to him by like
Lich King.
By Kara,
it was like
or by
the end.
SSC.
No.
Or...
Nope. No one did. No one did. You're all lying to yourselves.
It was the Ulduar gear, or it was ICC set.
King, like, people stopped even talking about tier. I remember it because it was like tier 9 was like the one that you could buy with badges.
Right.
And then like it feel like it became nothing at that point. And so before that, for sure, because I remember like for sure in vanilla, because it was like tier 2 everything. People were bad at tier 0.05 or
that was the dungeon
0.5.
set. Those
people talked about that.
I know about it after the fact, that they had these numbers and stuff like that. But like when I was originally playing, it's just like it was tier gear. It wasn't like, because I played a Death Knight.
Well, that's fair.
So
at a certain point, like tier 10, like you kind of just loses value at that point, anyway. So, but I remember like tier 7 and tier. Well, because they had different names for the 10 and 25 man knack stuff too.
It was Kultira's, it was the Kultira's battle gear, and then Kultira something else were like the 2 DK sets, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I'm saying like I don't remember it being called like 7.5 or anything.
No,
I don't know, 7.5.
Tier 7, I think that it's just because they were the same thing.
Maybe that's where we began to break down then, because that was the first time that the 2 different modes were introduced.
Right, but I still think that either if it was 10 man or 25 man, it was still tier 7. It's just, it was tier 7 or tier 7 heroic or something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, community-wise, I think it probably started to break down from there. Because I do remember that generally dying off around that time. I remember in BC, it was still like that, because you could have... It's weird because there was gear in Sunwell, but I think it was an extension of tier 6.
There were some tier sets that were split across where you could get them from.
Yeah, well, BC was all like that. Other than... No, Karazhan was the same way. Karazhan, you could only get like
a couple
the
pieces.
Helm, yeah, and then like Magtheridon was one piece. What else was there? Oh, Gruul's Lair was the other one.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't doing endgame content. I started at the end of BC, but I wasn't anywhere near doing endgame content. I wasn't the WoW player that I am today back then. So.
You didn't miss anything. It was horrible. It was bad.
So that's another thing that we have to look forward to.
That's exciting. I actually like that. So
there's been there's that mega dungeon coming out, and apparently it just kind of received a tuning thing on the PTR, and the article that I have read about it basically just says It's tuned for 425 eye level right now. Like on the PTR, if you go into it, it'll scale you to 425. And the interview is like, or the, not the interview, but the little article I read about it, and like they only discussed like the first 4 bosses, but it basically saying it's tuned really well for a 5-man group at 425, and it feels like 5-man raid content with that kind of like progression. Awesome. Like the bosses have mechanics that you have to do, and like they're not just like a minute or fight. Like there's like phases in these fights. They're like mini raid bosses, so they're gonna take time and learning the mechanics and doing that to progress. The only caveat they say is that most people are going to be around 440 by the time it comes out and all that stuff, so that may like kind of invalidate some of it unless they retune it again. But yeah,
440.
Well, yeah, we're like in the 430s right now.
Really?
I'm 437 on my character.
Oh, I'm pretty low. I'm still probably just in the 430s.
I'm still in the 430s.
I'm 432, not 2, T-O-O-2. But I'm actually, you have to rearrange the numbers.
So you're
could do the math.
234?
Could be. Never know. Not actually 2, T-O-O. I'm 430 as well, but rearranged.
Oh, yeah. So you're 034?
034. Yeah, well, I feel like I catch up. I keep the bottom of the DPS meters, and so that's what it kind of feels like.
Yeah. Well, quack. But yeah, no, it's so we've been doing a lot of like higher end keys and getting like the ability to upgrade the pieces. Like the max level for upgrading stuff right now is 441. The only way to get higher than that is to do a 17 or an 18.
I think 18. I thought 20 was the max.
20 is the max. So I think, 17 is 441, then 444, and then 447. 447 is the max you can get unless you get the legendary, but you have to be a Dracthyr for that. So, but they are adding some new levels of upgrade gear. So like right now it goes up to hero, which you can max out at 441, but they're adding in a myth level, which starts at 441 and goes up to 447. It's got like 3 levels. So, and it's also going to be retroactively applied to anything that you got for season 2 that's 441 or whatever from the appropriate sources, whether it's from the vault or from the PvP or from the raids and stuff like that. So you'll be able to, you probably won't have anything to upgrade it with, but it should automatically get the ability to be upgraded. So it gives more reason to do some of those higher keys, because right now it's just kind of like you either do 16s or you do 18s or you do 20s. Like 17s and 19s you don't really do, because you can just do a 16 and have it be a little bit easier and still get the same stuff out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're farming like the currency stuff and the vault drops. So yeah.
It's funny because I raided with you guys before we went on vacation,
and you haven't been back, and we're sad. And we
cleared
it.
Oh yeah,
did you?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah,
I was exhausted. I wanted to play, and then we had some stuff going on, and I think I worked all day cleaning up stuff around the house. So, this past week, or
this past week.
Yeah, Father's Day, you didn't play.
No, it was this past week. I was late because I had a parade over yonder about an hour away. By the time I got back, I think you guys had just finished the second boss.
Yep.
So I came in on the third boss, and we went all the way to the end.
Damn.
We did a couple pulls on Neltharion, got him down, and then we started working on Sarkareth, and It was like
The last pull of the night.
it was the last pull of the night. I'm like, we're gonna get one more pull in because why the hell not? And then we just fucking did it.
Yeah.
And then that was it. And now we're gonna start heroic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're probably gonna
Yeah.
do the last couple of bosses since we have some of the skips.
Mm-hmm.
And just for that, maybe some like the later tier pieces, maybe, and some other things, and then start working on heroic. I mean, it was clear. I mean, for our group, that's phenomenal. This early. I'm sorry. In English, please.
Sorry. When did it come out?
When did season 2 start? 'Cause that's when the raid came out. Wasn't it the beginning of like 6-7 weeks ago? 8 weeks ago?
That feels pretty good.
This
then.
is like 8 weeks. I think like 2 months ago it came out. Because I think this is week 8 of the Mythic Plus stuff. Because I think I saw something about the affixes being for week 8. It's either 7 or 8 weeks. And yeah, we missed at least 1 or 2 nights for
Mother's Day and Father's Day because he does both.
probably, yeah.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's phenomenal. I mean, everybody's been doing really well, and it's just like the mechanics weren't in such a weird state that it was difficult to learn them. Like, I guess it just didn't take as long to get them down. So which is good. It's nice to have. It's not easy, but it's also not difficult. I mean, especially when you're 2 healing the whole time.
Yeah. Woo-woo.
Which I know, especially on the first boss, can be a pain because towards the end he just starts pumping damage.
It's getting a little bit better on that one.
Yes, as people's gear goes up,
Yeah.
and their health pools go up, it's not as bad as strength.
Well, we're killing him quicker.
That too, and then like the Hydra boss. Because we do the stack mechanic on that one. So everybody just soaks up the lava puddles together, which is healing intensive.
A little bit.
Mhm.
So, but we plowed through it. So, I mean, it felt good, It's always nice to
It's
do.
awesome.
Another thing that Blizzard kind of released a preview for, along with the dungeon, was the Whelpling Daycare stuff. So basically, there's just too many eggs in the Ruby Life Shrine, and we need to help raise the eggs. So there's dailies. There's some quest to do. There's, I guess, 5 different quest lines, and if you complete all of the Whelp graduation quests, you get 5 battle pets, 5 non-combat pets, and the Whelp tender title, and some more stuff. So it just seems like it's going to be, just some stuff that you can do. Get an achievement called Hey Nanny Nanny. Okay.
That's funny.
And there is 16 total daily quests. When you complete them all, you'll get a whelp. There it is. So I guess they're all song related. Because Hey Nanny Nanny,
Yeah.
and then whoop, there it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. Yep, see? That's something us old folks would get. Them's old folk songs.
Yeah.
I hear them in the old folks home all the time.
Okay, Boomer.
You're
welcome.
Got him. Oh, I love it.
I know.
That's hilarious.
I know. It's terrible.
It's not funny.
I know.
Oh, did you see the stuff about the trading post for July and August?
Yeah, you can finally buy tenders.
That's not it.
Oh.
Yeah, and you did see because you watched the video. They're adding each month. They're adding 200 more tenders, a whole bunch of mounts. They're putting Tyrael's Charger on there, so if you didn't get it from the Diablo 4 event, you can buy it with the tenders.
People probably complained a lot about that.
I mean, yeah, because we know people that did it all the fucking time and still didn't get it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is now a way to do it. Now, whether or not that means it's staying on the trade, because they said that everything would kind of go back in rotation. So maybe it'll just stay in the rotation and come back every now and then. maybe not. I don't know. This could be a special occasion or, a special thing or not. I don't know. But they're adding as the reward for July, they're adding a new dragon riding mount. And it is...
Oh, I did hear about that.
It is cool looking.
It's a nether drake.
It is, yep.
That's awesome.
It looks kind of like the Highland. It's got the build of the Highland drake mount, like the big beefy one. But it's got the nether drake stuff. It's got like the tail fin stuff and like the, it's got more of a sharkish head kind of thing, but that's pretty freaking cool.
It does look pretty cool.
And it'd be pretty cool to see what kind of customizations are available for it as well. It'd be neat to see what kind of colors they have for it and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's pretty freaking cool.
It's pretty cool.
And don't really see much for August. I know that there's a spectral tiger cub pet that you can get. There's the fell crystal scorpion mount, which is kind of cool, like a green crystal scorpion. Kind of looks like that raid boss from Nighthold. Is that the raid? Yes, we fight. I can think of his name.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
The freaking warlock.
Gul'dan.
Gul'dan, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, couldn't think of his name. Jesus Christ, he's been dead for so long.
And alive and dead.
Oh, it was the second one. It wasn't even the first one. It was a different timeline one. But yep. Another thing that came out announced is that there's going to be official WoW Classic hardcore servers.
That's kind of cool. Like, that's good.
That is kind of cool.
That's kind of cool.
And
I mean, I'm not going to play them because I don't have any desire to play Classic. But Classic, vanilla.
Yeah.
But that's fine for the people who do want to play it. Like, I am happy for them.
Yeah, I mean, so they have a list of rules and some other stuff on it for like kind of like the overset for it. So death is permanent. You exist as a ghost after you die so that you can talk to in-game friends and resolve logistical matters such as handing over guild leadership if you're a guild master who died. So they're at least allowing some way to tidy things up.
That's cool.
And the character isn't lost. You will get a free character move to move it to a non-hardcore classic era realm.
That's nice.
So you can res the character and still play the character.
Continue playing the character.
But you can never go. That character can never go back to a hardcore realm.
Sure.
Which is fine.
That is pretty cool.
That's
pretty cool.
So PvP flagging, you will no longer be automatically flagged for PvP when you attack another player. You have to physically and deliberately flag yourself by typing PvP. It doesn't mean that attacking enemy faction guards and stuff like that, you still get flagged for that. But you can't get like baited or goaded into switching to PvP if you don't want to. So, because they're trying to avoid any type of griefing type stuff that you could do to like really like fuck somebody over. Mm-hmm. They're disabling PvP battlegrounds, and PvP battle masters. Is that
the ones that you hit and they kill you instantly?
No,
aren't the guards in those areas?
The battle masters are the ones that like aren't they like the quartermasters that sell you the shit for the rep? You can't get honor in this. Well, okay, you might be able to get honor, but there's not PvP is not the focus, so you can't queue for it.
What type of server is it? An RP server then? Because that's what if you use the hardcore add-on, they tell you to use a certain RP server.
I don't know. It might be based off of that, but it's its own type of server. It's what I mean. It's not like it's a RP server designation or anything like that. It's probably just going to be hardcore. They are going to have what they have, or what they're calling war games. They're pre-made war games, but you don't get honor or PvP rep from those. You can still die in those, your permanent death. So they've updated the PvP quests that used to automatically flag you for PvP, so they no longer do that. They said that the quests were never really meant to flag you. It was just kind of a result of how they were set up and all that stuff. So they're kind of like anything that can make you attackable by another player, they're getting rid of. So that's good.
That's good.
They changing the leashing on certain things. It says most creatures will leash and reset when leaving the area or zone they were engaged in. This means that you will no longer see Teramis the Devourer in Stormwind or Wandering Devil Swords in Thousand Needles, because you can take high-level monsters to low-level areas and stir up a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they're changing that stuff. It's a tuning thing, though, because they still want, like, hunters to be able to kite elite monsters for a while and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
they're not making it, like, super small, but they're making it so you can't drag it all the way across the world to, like, fuck people's shit up. They're putting a 24-hour lockout timer on dungeons for players under 60, because they don't want people power leveling in dungeons. So you can do the dungeon once a day. They also are bringing over the group XP stuff from Seasons of Mastery. So that way, significantly higher characters, if you're in the group, it causes your XP to be like almost nothing, so you can't power level people that way. They removed the 16 debuff and 32 buff limits. They said that they were originally a technical limitation in World of Warcraft, so they're removing that, so you can have more buffs and more debuffs, which is good.
That's interesting.
One of my favorite ones is that Bubble Hearth doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I saw that.
It says paladins will not be able to use their hearthstones while under the effects of Blessing of Protection, Divine Protection, or Divine Shield on hardcore realms. Yeah. It says being able to bubble hearth is fairly iconic, if not exactly heroic, feature of the paladin class. However, the reincarnation ability is also an iconic feature of the shaman class. So paladins have enormous tools to prevent death. Shaman's core tool to recover is completely incompatible. So they're removing it basically because it's kind of, if shamans can't reincarnate,
Sure,
paladins can't bubble it. Because I guess in WoW Classic, you either you have Alliance Paladin and Hordes have shamans. You didn't have the cross yet, right? You didn't have the ability to have dwarf shamans or blood elf paladins, because that didn't happen until BC. So that makes sense. They're adding in a new feature called Duel to the Death. You can right click a target. Seriously, you can right click a target and request a duel to the death from the context menu. Or it can also be triggered by selecting the target and typing Makara in your chat window.
Okay.
That's badass. I'm sorry.
It says, so before commencing combat, both parties must read and acknowledge a warning message and type, I agree. Meaning,
wow.
Yeah. Huh. Because it is a duel to the death. If you lose, your character is dead.
Wow.
So and then what do you get for it?
That's pretty freaking cool. Like, I'll never ever do it, but that's pretty cool.
They say that they feel it's going to be an extremely exciting addition to the hardcore realm for those who like to play at the highest possible stakes.
Yeah.
And those who want to witness contests. Could you imagine, like, Brian, would you stop? Could you imagine just having people just set up like a fight club, and you could run betting pools on people and stuff like that? And it says, so since bragging rights,
you get something for it. You get something for your wins.
Listen, I'm getting to that.
Get to it, because it's bad.
So since bragging rights are important, they'll be tracking the number of kills, Loktar Ogar. I don't know why it says that. Oh, it's a side note. Weird editing. It says you receive in Duels to the Death with a special cosmetic buff on your character called String of Ears. Each time you win a Duel to the Death, you will receive a trophy, and the stat count on this buff will increase by 1. Anyone who clicks on your character will be able to see what a frightful combatant you are by the number of ears you've collected. There are some limitations to this, however, as you cannot earn this String of Ears buff below level 10, and you cannot earn the buff if you and your opponent are too many levels apart.
Sure.
So that's good. That means that if you're trying to do it,
It's crazy to see someone that would have a count so high, like the amount of anxiety you go through.
Right?
Oh gosh.
but that's the whole point of
crazy.
it, and that's the kind of shit we're missing
Yeah.
in the
That's
live
No,
game.
the
it's
kind
true,
of that's
That's
kind
what
of stuff that
that's what tier gear used to be. That's what legendaries used to be. They were like marks of honor kind of thing. They were like visible things that set you apart to say, I got this and I earned this. Now, granted, this is probably a little bit more prestigious than getting loot drops or something like that, because it means you fucking fought tooth and nail for this shit, but it's pretty fucking cool.
I love the fact that they're doing it. I love the fact that hardcore really hasn't been around that long as an add-on in a community. And then that they're willing to take this to like what people wanted originally was like classic plus plus or something, where they just evolve on it somehow. And this is really cool because I think it opens
it's
doors.
crazy. Yeah, it's just like you said, like the hardcore add-on probably hasn't been around that long. I mean, I've only recently just kind of started hearing about it in the last couple months, and to turn around and just like spit this out and just
It's pretty cool.
very cool. Yeah.
it also shows that they're saying, well, people want this. It's kind of like what was it initially when people were asking for?
You think you do, but you don't.
You think you do, but you don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like and like people weren't asking for it. They just went out and did it. So then they
Yeah.
go, oh, people want this. Let's make one that we can control and get. Let's look and see. I'm hoping they looked and saw what people were doing and included that kind of stuff in here, so that way it still kind of stays true to what people are doing, and it's not just like their own thing that they're calling hardcore. You know what I mean? Because that would be the thing. So let's see. They're saying all content phases will be unlocked right from the launch. So I'm guessing, Molten Core.
Nothing is.
Black,
Yeah, there's no like attunements and stuff like that. It's all.
progress through. Oh, yeah. I guess I don't know if you still have to attune or not. Did they remove attunement?
No, everything that was blocking all that all the content it's open. Like, so there's not going to be a gong war thing.
Sure,
for
right? Yeah. There's not gonna. Yeah, it's they're gonna be at whatever the last patch of vanilla was, probably.
Yeah.
And so they're not gonna tolerate gameplay, zone disruption, and malicious player killing outside of consensual PvP. So they will deliberately, by this we mean deliberate action to hamper blah blah blah. So no griefing kind of thing. Taking actions to deliberately cause the death of another player, such as but not limited to kiting higher level elite mobs, yada yada yada, wiping a raid or a dungeon group. It's not a PvP realm, and the normal PvP realm rules do not in any way apply to this realm. Outside of normal duel to the death, consensual PvP flagging, or war games killing other players isn't the core goal, or killing other players isn't the core goal of hardcore gameplay. If somebody has been found to make this their goal to take part of this kind of disruptive playstyle, they reserve the right to take immediate and decisive action against anyone found to be deliberately causing this disruption to other players on the realm, including permanent account closure.
Get 'em.
That's the ban hammer. So, on the flip side, report bombing or intentionally using the rule set against players in an attempt to get their accounts actioned will also be met with equally harsh punishment. Deaths can and will happen in normal gameplay, and retaliation or resorting to bullying, abuse, or malicious reporting for normal gameplay deaths are not appropriate. If you're in a dungeon group and the tank ends up taking on too much damage and dies, despite their efforts of the healer in the group, it is not appropriate for someone to report the healer.
Oh, son of a bitch. Can you imagine how toxic it would probably be to be a healer in those groups? Woo!
Yeah, that's
No,
why you
thank
make sure you know
you.
who the fuck you're going with.
Yep. No, thank you.
So I know that I read something somewhere where they have the ability to potentially reverse a death if they found that it's like, I don't know if it's in here.
Yeah, because the way the hardcore community thing is set up now is that you can petition
Right.
to get back get off the death list or something like that.
I don't know if that's a thing that they have in here. I hope that they would have something like that.
Yeah, but think about it. Each one of those, each time somebody petitioned would mean that there would have to be somebody at Blizzard who was answering those petitions.
Hey, job security, right?
Well, yeah, but they don't really care about that. They're,
I don't know.
I
You say
mean,
they don't
given
care
this-
about it, but all the stuff that
it's-
they're doing shows that they maybe kind of do care.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is they got rid of all the GMs. They got rid of all the, so they don't really care about that per se. I mean, sure, they care about, the game and everything, but they don't care so much about that aspect of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the community's take on it is, and if there is a way to get your character back in the event of some untimely deaths
Mm-hmm.
that were not in any way, shape, or form your fault.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Missed interrupt. Boom. Dead. Oof. No thanks.
well,
I tell you what, I was playing with my son and we grouped up and we were doing the hardcore add-on stuff, and it makes you think, right?
Yeah.
It's actually a dynamic of the game that I feel like was in more so like when Ultima or EverQuest, because they were such excruciating death loops. You die, in Ultima you became a ghost at your corpse, and then so you had to run, and there would be these wandering healers in the world that you could resurrect from, or you had to go find what they had onks in the game, and you would have to go find that, or you'd have to go to a town to a healer to get resurrected, and you would have nothing on you except your death robe, and you would have to run all the way back to your body in hopes it did not decay. It would decay into a skeleton first, and then it would completely disappear after a while with all your stuff on it that you were carrying. And so that was terrible.
could people
And then
loot your corpses?
They could in the original one, and if you were not, they had the system. You were either blue, gray, or red. Blue was you were good, you didn't do anything wrong. Gray was like you were criminalized for some reason. And usually it goes back to blue eventually. Like if a guard saw you steal something from someone or somewhere, you could get flagged gray. And then so like if someone called the guards on you, they could come and kill you. Or you might not. A red was a murderer, and you got killed instantly in town. And so if you stole stuff from somebody's body that was blue, you would become a criminal. If they were a criminal or a murderer, you could take their stuff just like with no issue.
Okay.
Yeah. So like,
That's pretty neat.
but the thing is, even in EQ though, like I think in EQ you went back to your bind spot, which is like your hearth, when you died, but you had to run back to your corpse to get your stuff, or someone had to consent to grab your corpse and drag it somewhere for you. And so like these death runs were like of that era were
Painful.
terrifying. And so like you're constantly critical about like, where are the mobs around me? Am I going to get locked in?
Mm-hmm.
Can I get out? Am I too far in this cave or whatever the case is?
Right.
All that stuff. And this, like, you could feel it. We were in Northshire going through the kobolds.
No take
and-
candle.
Yeah, and so it's like, and none of them are red yet, right? They're all like yellow, so they won't attack you. But it got me thinking because I pulled like 3 of them, and I'm like, ooh, that's kind of like 30% uncomfortable. I think I'm gonna pull less.
I think I'm gonna
But I
pull
love it.
less.
I love that because it brings back what we were talking about before, that old style of like the fight itself is a big part of the game then, right?
Yeah.
And this makes it like 10 times better. Whereas like now you just fart and 3 mobs die and you loot them and you go. Even looting is annoying. Like getting money and items is really annoying in the modern game. In the old game, necessary. The art of the fight was a challenge and fun and engaging and all that stuff. And this makes it that much more. And that's what really makes it interesting. Because at first I'm like, I'm not sure how I feel about getting so far, then dying, and then I'm done.
Yeah.
But the idea of having a more engaging experience like that actually is, I don't know. It reeled me in. I'm excited.
I'll try it. I'll play with you guys if you want. If you and your son get doing, we'll do a little bit of it. And if you think
I just
about
die
it,
over and over. It's great.
Each class is a different experience.
Yeah,
because each
most
class
of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have different abilities and all that kind of stuff. Now, sure, you're going to have your first aid and your potions and all that kind of shit.
That's so cool, though, right? Like, and then like
you're going to have to prepare to go out for adventure.
And the chance that you run into the chest that has a potion that you need to get some extra, get further in that cave or whatever, dude, those experiences are so just, it's so much fun. It's a real adventure, right? It's less on the story. It's less on the whole overall, like, woohoo stuff, flying on dragons and all this other crap. It's just me going out and stabby and trying to live.
I think the focus of MMOs into more character spotlight stories is a dynamic shift from the way it used to be. It's like, in Classic, it's like you weren't like this big hero champion kind of thing. You weren't participating in all this like grandiose.
That's why they call them raids. They're raids because you needed a whole bunch of people to take down something with pitchforks. Let's go raid and take that dragon down, right?
And even
40 people to take that dragon down.
And even then, it's like, if you think about it, they could easily make the game be like, oh, you were just one of 40 people that killed Onyxia. It's like, it's not just, oh, you killed Onyxia, or like you killed Deathwing, or it's like you defeated the jailer champion, you're the hero, and it's like, well, you're the mall walker. It's like,
man,
so
think
is everybody
of the dynamic
else.
Though in when you raid in those guilds and people actually die. The dynamic there, like, holy crap, like the mourning, the logistics behind having to redo all that stuff when someone dies is absolutely insane. And I know that they have bigger or they have more cohesive guilds for this type of scenario, because like you get in and they start recruiting immediately over and over and over. But as far as logistics are concerned, no, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, and they probably have most of that figured out now, right? Where they can probably spin someone up and then farm them through. But like the plugin itself has their community rules on there, like state that you can only pair up to, like, I say pair, you can only have like 3 people in a party.
Right.
And stuff. So there are super duper limitations on it before you get to raiding. But sorry, my dog's gonna be barking for a few minutes. Sorry.
It's fine. Battlecat gets loud too, so.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know how loud it is right now.
So the last thing really that kind of just came out today that I think we can maybe talk a little bit is there's a short little in-game cinematic that just came out called A Matter of Time. And it features...
We have time to talk about
we have time.
Oh gosh,
Yes.
I kind of forgot about that part.
I know. I was saving it for last. I wanted to kind of touch a bunch of. I didn't realize that we were going to get sidetracked as much as we did.
I'm not sidetracked. I don't care what you say. That was awesome. I'm glad you brought it back up.
Oh no, I'm glad we talked about all that shit. That's just how we
I'm
roll,
glad we
right?
talked about BlizzCon and Jim flying us out there and buying our tickets for us.
Tickets are going on sale July 8th and July 22nd, I believe. I haven't seen anything.
Aren't we going this year?
Yeah, we're gonna stay in your RV, right?
Maybe.
Did you fix that?
It won't make it up there. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We could have a great trip on Route 66 all the way, and then pivot over to Irvine or wherever it's at.
You got to get your kicks on Route 66. So
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called A Matter of Time. It features Alex Straza and Nosdormu, and basically he's having visions that involve Eridicron making deals with the infinite time or the infinite dragonflight and all that stuff, and you get this, like these images of Wormrest Temple and like the end time one where Deathwing is dead on it. If you remember doing that dungeon, that was at the end of Cataclysm. It was when those 3 dungeons, because you had the Cavern of Time dungeons, and that was one of them.
And the badass blackout with Sylvanas, the Sylvanas fight, and everything was blacked out.
No, that was Tyrande in the forest.
Was it Tyrande?
Yeah, you do fight Sylvanas, but she summons the ghouls that come into a circle, and you got to break it and get out.
Oh yeah,
Tyrande. You have to drag all the mobs into the moonlight things to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Tyrande.
Tyrande.
But
I'm glad that guy's asleep.
Yeah, no shit.
Sorry.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Yeah, that was the one where you fight Murazond at the end and all that stuff.
Yep.
So he goes through all these things. He has no idea what Eridicron, what kind of deal he's made with them and all that stuff. And then it pretty much, he's worried that they're going to be trying to force him to turn into Murazond. And you get this whole big, like, cloudy, smoky Murazond rising from the smoke kind of thing, which is badass. He looks fucking awesome.
I'm telling you,
it does look cool.
He is going to be the end boss for the expansion.
Can we?
It's hilarious because that thing, the video set it up like it's going to be. I feel like it's a typical scenario of those weird time things when a story is told about it. He's going to focus on it too much and it's going to come true because, like.
Right, self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, like.
Well,
he was too zoned into it.
There's no guarantee that the Murazond that we fight is. Now, I know that in some of the lore and all that stuff, if you read, like, there's only one Murazond kind of thing. But I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Like, I think that, and who's to say our Nosdormu is going to be the one that turns into Murazond? You know what I mean? It's like,
what if it's? Oh gosh, what if it's that Murazond pushing our Nosdormu into
becoming himself?
Yeah. Oh god, and there's this weird recursive loop of infinite loop of like.
You know how at the end of the Ulamon dungeon, Legacy of Tyr, you fight Chronolord Deos, the dragon with well, he's the last boss of the mega dungeon. So, and there's some description about how he went like back in time to ensure the rise of Murazond and all that stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. I can't definitively say that he's going to be the end guy and all that stuff, because Eridicron's a boss in that dungeon too. And I don't know if we defeat him or if we just beat him and make him run away, because he's like the leader of the primal incarnates. Like, he's like the boss of the primals and the primal dragon flights and all that stuff. So I can't see him just being relegated to a fucking dungeon boss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of like if Deathwing was just a dungeon boss and then You know, you know what I mean? It's like
Huh?
now they have been, and I don't know if it is the way they're telling the story, if they're trying to really shroud like who the actual end boss is, like because they told us in Shadowlands up front, Jailer's the end boss. Now there was some suggestion stuff that was the Rune Master. What was it? Was that who he was? Rune Keeper.
Yeah. But we didn't actually know that was the.
Yeah. Oh, he was. What the fuck
What was his name?
I can't remember his name. He was the leader of the.
Starts with M.
And that was the faction. That was the Covenant.
Oh man,
I can't remember the Covenant names anymore. You had the
Maldraxxus.
Maldraxxus was the
leader.
Yeah.
Primus.
Primus,
How would I remember Primus?
I don't know. But like
That's sad.
like there's all this stuff like maybe he was really the thing. Like he even still could be the big fucking bad that just like controlled the jail. Because there was a whole thing like that whole theory that like he set all this shit in motion, let himself get caught, and was controlling the jailer the whole fucking time.
Mhm.
And apparently there's just no legs to that because it didn't happen. But again, we don't know what happened to Thanos. Maybe the Primus was really Thanos. Or Thanos was really the Primus. I mean, fuck, that's as plausible as anything else.
Oh,
So,
Lord
I don't
have
know.
mercy.
It'd be interesting if Murazan was the end boss of the whole expansion, but there's going to be a 10-2. And I guess we'll just have to wait till we get some more information on that. At least, I don't know. I'm not ready to commit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that about wraps it up for this week. Thanks everybody for listening. We had some pretty good conversations, I think.
That was good. I'm excited.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff on the horizon for the game. It's like, yep, WoW is dead. Let's keep playing.
Yep.
WoW is dead. Long live WoW. So, anyway, you can check us out at facebook.com/server restartin or shoot us a tweet at server_restart. And we'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.